So in this next little section right here, I'm going to make some connections for you. This is going to be something that's going to be pretty interesting if you will pay attention to what's going on here. Okay. So we just got done a little bit with the age of exploration. The age of exploration, everybody should know, most probably. If nothing else, you probably know this from 8th grade if you're in Texas. But Ferdinand and Isabella, these people right up here at the top, they're from Spain, all the way up at the top. Ferdinand and Isabella, they are known for, number one, the Reconquista of Iberia. What that means is that they put their money together and they kicked out the Moors. Okay, so from 700 and something all the way to Ferdinand and Isabella, 1492, Spain had been controlled for the most part by the Moors. The Moors are Islamic people who came up. If you'll remember, Charles Martel kept them out of France. They tried to go through the Pyrenees Mountains, and Charles Martel beat them at the Battle of Tours and get out of here, go back to Spain. And then Spain couldn't hack it by keeping them out. But Ferdinand and Isabella, they kicked the Moors back to Africa, and so it began to kind of shrink everything down. But they did make a lot of money off of that deal, and where they combined their two like small kingdoms together, they were able to fund a lot of exploration. So they funded Christopher Columbus. It's like, you get a boat, and you get a boat, and you get a boat, and let's try to find some way to get something away from having to go to the Silk Road. So they're trying to find a passage to the Indian Ocean trade routes. And when they did that, they ended up running into America. So Christopher Columbus, you know who that guy is. Obviously, he opened up the Columbian Exchange, so on and so forth. There's a lot more to that, but this is not really about him. But I want to make some connections for you. So this is the connections that I want you to see. Okay, Ferdinand and Isabella, their daughter, they had a bunch of daughters and sons, but these are the only ones that we're going to really talk about. But Ferdinand and Isabella's daughter was Catherine of Aragon. Catherine of Aragon was Henry VIII's first wife. Okay, the one he divorced because she couldn't bear him a son for whatever reason. So we're going to stay on the Spain train right here, and I'm going to let you guys kind of see what's going on right here, okay? Her sister is named Joanna of Castile. Joanna marries Philip I. Philip I is not, he's a king, he becomes king, but he's not a bloodline king, okay? Their son is Charles V. Charles V is the guy that is the king of Spain and all the New World, blah, blah, blah. And he's also the king of the Holy Roman Empire, or the leader of the Holy Roman Empire. They're more of a confederacy, but he's the king of all that. So that's kind of like the lineage that's happening in Spain right now. It's pretty easy to understand. So he's the king of Spain during the time of Luther. He's the guy who the Edict of Worms and all that stuff happens and all that stuff. Well, his son is going to be named, oh, can't you see my finger? There it is right there. His son's going to be named Philip II of Spain. Philip II is also known as the most Catholic king. I don't know how you can be more Catholic than another Catholic, but I mean, you're either, it's like I'm the most Protestant king, or I'm the most, I don't know, Buddhist king. How do you be the most of anything like that? But the best explanation I can give you for that is that he had the most influence on the Pope, most probably because he had a lot of money, because of the New World that was found by his, I guess it's what, his granddad, yeah, that was funded by his granddad and grandma. So they have a lot of money by this point that's pumping in silver and gold from the New World. So Philip II marries Mary Tudor. Okay, you also know Mary Tudor as Bloody Mary. Fun times. So they try to later convert or revert England back to Catholicism. So that's kind of how that works right there. He is going to fight Elizabeth Tudor with a big armada. Okay, so let's look at here at the very top. Okay, up here at the very top is Henry VIII. You know Henry VIII because he had 6 wives, and that's probably the only reason why you know Henry VIII. But if you also remember the first wife, whenever he got rid of her, when he divorced her, he wasn't allowed to do that via the Catholic Church. And so what he did was he said, all right, you don't like how we're doing this? Peace. And so he created his own church, which he was the head of, and basically divorced his wife, Catherine of Aragon, and he married Anne Boleyn. Okay? So his wife, Catherine of Aragon, while we're talking about her, her daughter was Mary Tudor. Look back over here. Catherine of Aragon, sister, that makes Mary Tudor, I believe, second cousins with her husband. Yeah. So basically, daughter Mary Tudor, Catholic, married Philip II of Spain, her cousin. She's known as Bloody Mary because she killed a whole lot of Protestants trying to make England Protestant again. So there's a problem there. All right. Wife number 2, Anne Boleyn. Anne Boleyn is the reason why Henry made, or one of the reasons why, but the biggest reason why, he made the Church of England, which is going to be a problem. Obviously, there's going to be some serious problems that goes along with this. So their daughter is going to be named Elizabeth Tudor. She's going to become the Queen of England after Mary died. She never marries, so she never has kids. If she doesn't have kids, there's no heir to the throne, and with no heir to the throne, it's going to go up in the air as to who's going to be king or queen next. We'll talk about that in the next couple of sections. His third wife, because Anne Boleyn chopped that head, got it chopped off, Henry VIII chopped her head, or had her head chopped off. So divorced, beheaded, and then the third one, his third wife, Jane Grey, died, giving birth to Henry's only legitimate son. Now, he did have sons, but this was his only legitimate son, Edward VI. He became king after Henry died, and he died pretty early. He was very young whenever he died. So that's what kind of leads all this little issues to happen. Fun times, right? I don't know. It sounds like this like legit sounds like a messed up family. But you got to think about it like this. England wanted to make sure at this point, whenever they're marrying into each other's bloodlines and all that stuff, they're marrying because each other are the powerhouses, particularly the powerhouse that is Spain. Spain has a lot of money, a lot of money from the New World, from Ferdinand and Isabella. So that's going to cause there to be a lot of desire for people to want to marry into their family.